You know what? Every single one of you out there, you're lucky individuals you are, because we are here in the round of 12, and we have quite the fixture. One that I am most hyped about coming into this bracket so far. Welcome back to the battle station here. I'm Kyle, your host, Captain Kyle to be correct, and we have Tasteless, we have Rotterdam. Boys, it's SOS versus Maru. I couldn't be any more hyped.
I am so excited for this match. This could have easily been a finals. I absolutely think this will go to 5 games, and it should be one of the best series that we have all day.
Yeah, it should be. Roddy?
I am so curious to see what Maru has in store for us. Yes, he had some success in this matchup in some of the GSL groups that you casted Tasteless, but some of those builds, they've really been figured out already. He's not going to kill SOS here with 2 Cyclones and 2 Hellions. That's just not going to happen unless it's some crazy proxy and it's somehow not scouted.
Yeah.
So Maru is really going to have to play his absolute heart out, somehow take perfect engagements, and we're probably going to see some crazy builds, even some SCV pools perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. Maru had limited success in the group stage. He did beat Showtime, yes, but he did fall to Dia, who has moved now onto the round of 8. Is that any kind of indicator, or is SOS just kind of this wild Protoss beast that's unlike any other Protoss?
Well, I mean, most importantly, he survived that, so he's here now.
Yeah.
Just because he didn't perform amazingly against some of the other Protoss players doesn't mean he's not a player who can use those losses to then adapt to the series here now. Now, that being said, SOS is somebody who I feel like there's almost nobody that really plays like him. I guess sort of classic, and I guess Hero does end games in decisive ways.
Yeah.
But not exactly like SOS. So this is like he's playing against a 4th race or something.
Short thoughts before we start, Roddy?
I think that if Maru somehow takes this series, it's really going to come down to the big engagements and just better positioning, set the fights up very well early on.
Yeah.
You know, spread out his units well, get those Widow Mine hits that you're looking for. But I think the more hectic the early game gets, I think that's where SOS shines as well. SOS is so good. You can kill 7 probes, but then I'm going to kill 17 SCVs because you have nothing at home. So I think if Maru gets the job done, it's going to be coming down to the big fights.
Yeah, and we're ready for it. We are ready. So we're going to go into one of the most highlighted, anticipated fixtures of the round of 12. It's SOS going up against Maru.
Barely lost, I don't think he's lost any series actually as of late. I think it was like 12-0, whereas Maru's lost a bit here and there. It was almost funny actually, like it mentioned the APM and Maru having one of the highest and SOS one of the lowest.
It's like half
it's like
the
Protoss 3. Everybody looking at that. Yeah, SOS is 8-0 in best of 3 PvT series. So definitely in a very strong form against Terran.
He's just looking so good lately, and it's so abusive and powerful. I remember back in Pyeongchang, you know, just a few short weeks ago, we saw him go up against Special in the semis there, and Special, big favorite in that tournament, got absolutely destroyed. It felt like SOS was just all over him, and we've seen that echoed in some of his other Protoss vs Terran games here in this series, in this tournament. Saw him take down Ro12 in super decisive fashion, as well as some other players. And I mean, it's so interesting when I think of these two guys clashing. It's a big match. It's Brawn versus Brain, as we had, of course, written there in the ticker. It's one of these matches where you've got the intense mechanical speed of Maru, tactics and aggression up against SOS. He's all mind games. Let's launch into game number 1, guys. Let's give it up for this man in the top left-hand side, the 2-time world champion, the most winning player in all of StarCraft 2's history. It is SOS!
And his opponent in the red and bottom right-hand side of the map, playing Terran, one of the last hope of Terran, just play like Maru!
Problems with Oracles, just play like Maru. Problems with Stalkers, just play like Maru. That's what they say. Easier said than done, because this guy is so fast. He's a player who has been known for his Terran vs. Protoss prowess over the years. Of course, people who've been following StarCraft many years remember Heart of the Swarm, him dropping Marauders on top of Colossus-based armies and focus firing them down. You know, he's a player. His medevacs, his bio, his movements are so dangerous.
He was really one of the first guys doing this so well, dropping all over the place and then eventually kind of forcing Protoss to either attack into him or be out of position for just 1 second, in which case he would play without Vikings against Colossus coming in from multiple sides, set up a 360 engagements and really take out the Protoss army at once. So hard to execute, but when you're able to do it, a lot of the time you're going to have success. These are different times though, and nowadays the game has changed quite a bit. It's quite difficult to face Protoss these days, especially when their name is SOS. Great blocks so far from SOS, but the command center will go down eventually.
There is a Zealot already coming out, though. This is so common for SOS lately. Block that CC for as long as possible. Get a Zealot out, and then often even chrono boosting a Stalker as well. And there we go, the Stalker already getting chrono boosted. SOS's whole game plan with this opening is he's gone Cybercore before Nexus. He's committing to getting the pressure on, and he wants to slow that command center down. Already making the sacrifice of this probe to buy just a couple of seconds. If he can kill that SCV, that is the weak point. Maru can defend his wall, but he will not be able to get that command center up. The Zealot, it dodges the Reaper.
Yeah, this is so smart by SOS. Not only he got the vision of that Reaper, he also weakened some of these SCVs. Now he's gonna walk in and start shooting that SCV down, ideally for him before the CC finishes, immediately cancel.
Wow.
For Maru, who knows that there is a Stalker headed his way. He starts a bunker on the high ground, and on the other side, we have SOS with the Nexus on the way, with already part of a wall at his natural, so he doesn't even need to worry as much about an upcoming attack from Maru, and he's going to be the aggressive one here early on, looking to shoot down that SCV in 3 hits.
That Stalker already doing some nice damage. The Zealot damaging the depot. The Stalker focuses down the SCV on the bunker. 2 SCVs falling and SOS just expanding behind this. Already, he's found massive damage. Maru has no idea what's coming behind this. His Reaper had to come home. He thinks there might be a 1-base all-in. He's building bunkers and cyclones, but he's blind. His Reaper going to try to get out on the map and scout what's going on. And I tell you, Todd, when he sees that expansion, he is going to feel a drop in his stomach. He is not going to feel good about the state of this game.
Yeah, these are 2 teammates we're talking about. They know each other very well, and SOS is so good at those mind games time after time. A previous champion here at the Intellectual Masters in a series in which we saw him proxy multiple times against a hero and being successful with it, taking the whole prize money of $100,000 back then. Now once again just playing the mind games beautifully here, already from game number 1, looking to set the pace for the entire series. He's gonna catch that Reaper out on the map, and he's going for Blink and 2 additional gates behind this. It's not necessarily like the biggest of commitments yet, but you can almost always be pretty aggressive with this regardless, just because of the Blink that makes you very safe against anything.
This is such a hard spot for Maru. Still no confirmation on the expansion. No idea what the follow-up tech is. I think he skipped the engineering bay knowing that he can't afford to be safe against absolutely everything, but already playing so safe and defensive. And, you know, Cyclones are really good in the early game, but once Blink Stalkers come out, they can dance around those Cyclones. It's very hard for your Cyclones to actually find an engagement where they can stand and shoot.
Yeah, no, when Protoss like SOS goes for 3 gateways like this, you can be sure of one thing, that's he's going to be warping Stalkers 3 by 3 for a while, And usually once you reach, 10 to 12, that's when you want to start to try and make something happen. But because of the way things opened up, SOS knows there's going to be a medivac headed for him soon a lot of the time here for some aggression. So he's kind of stayed on his side of the map and waiting to receive that. Looks like he might catch the Marines in the middle of the map.
Oh, Blink's finished. Those Marines are gone.
He could just kill that and then maybe recall in the main base when the Prism gets there. Not sure if he's going to need to or if he has the energy, but for now he's just going to kill those Marines.
Yeah, just a warp in there, even alone, should be able to handle that. The Stalkers might just counterattack. Looks like they are going to. Cyclones have actually been attacking the Cybercore, but that's such a beefy structure. Actually, no damage done in the main by Maru, and the Stalkers are there, dancing their way into the Terran base. Yes, the Cybercore's gone down, but Maru has nothing.
Does he think in? Yes, he goes for it. There is only 4 Marines. One tank comes out, he's going to get targeted immediately. Interference Matrix is used on one of these Stalkers, but I mean, it's not going to buy that much time. Maybe Maru can survive, but he's taking so much SCV damage here, Pig. The Cyclones across the map still counter-attacking. He actually warps in Zealot because he has no Cybercore backup just yet. And both players looking to try and stabilize here. But I feel like Maru is taking way more damage.
Yeah, Maru is in a disastrous spot right now. From the get-go, SOS taking advantage of him, cancelling the command center. And now Maru, he's in big trouble. I think, he's trying to get his barracks up. He's turtling in on one base. SOS starting to establish the third.
Yeah, that medivac got caught.
Oh, it did? Damn. That is massive, the lead for SOS. He's got charge, 5 more gateways and a warp prism on the way. Maru seems to just have been outthought, outmaneuvered this game.
Yeah. I always talk about the supply, but I think here we can look at the production tab, and this does not bode well for Maru, who's not going to be having an easy time getting enough units to hold against the upcoming potential attack from SOS, with a lot of charge loads, upgrades as well. Not an easy time so far for our Terran player. But if he can stay alive and prevent any more damage from hitting him, might be able to somehow mount a comeback, but it's going to be so difficult. I like that he's getting tanks against Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, good choice there to help defend. Of course, the charge swap, though, effective against siege tanks. You need a lot of Widow Mines to deal with mass charge lot, and that's not going to be something Maru has the capability of getting out. He's barely even re-establishing his natural expansion. Looking to warp in a ton of Zealots here is SOS. SOS knows he's got an advantage, and he knows that Maru should not be able to defend an onslaught.
We've cast so many of these PVTs, and every time I think the same thing. How am I so bad against Terran? Because these guys make it look easy. And I feel like this might be another one of those games here. SOS looking to try and do something.
He's trapped on the ledge.
Oh, that poor guy. But I mean, the attack on the natural is going to happen now, and Maru is just not ready.
Oh man, the first siege tank goes down, one more on the high ground, the bio coming down, an anti-armor missile lands, actually very nice anti-armor missile from Maru, but his stim is not yet finished. Force field on the ramp, already 7 SCVs have gone down, that orbital command center getting dangerously low.
I think he can force field maybe 2 or 3 more times, and just gonna stay down there. There's no SCVs to repair this just yet. Maru sends one, but the target on that orbital command here, one hallucinated Phoenix will help spot on the high ground. Maru saves the command center, nicely done, but I mean, in the meantime, SOS is on 3 bases, he's got 1-1 upgrades on the way, and 54 walkers to 32.
1-1 upgrades are going to be finishing as well. SOS, calm in the driver's seat of this game, has taken the gases on the 3rd base, is opening up that tech, Immortals being added into the mix. And it's a very clean, easy game here. If you don't let Maru out onto the map, if you don't let him harass you and be running all around the place with medevacs, I mean, it's just not a Maru game, is it? It's just any other Terran player sitting on the defensive without the tools they need to put the pressure on.
SOS looking to threaten with a Prism. Maru is still back at home, so this is very risky, but... Ooh, actually, can this even escape now?
Yeah,
oh, he's going to the corner?
Very bottom right corner, and then recall, I guess, if a Viking comes out. But, SOS sees everything right now.
Yeah.
Does have 2-2 started, more Immortals, more charge lots. Maru's game plan here is make a lot of stuff and hope. Pray a little bit, set up some amazing engagements, and if you can take the perfect fight, there's always that glimmer of hope.
I love how Maru's moving across the map. He's like, I gotta siege, I gotta fight, I gotta attack now. But SOS is the one almost meeting him in the middle of the map with so many units. Some friendly fire here from that Widow Mine as SOS flies that Prism into the main base. He says, you've been defending really well. It would be a shame if we were to attack you as you were moving out. And that's exactly what he does. GG. SOS goes up 1-0 here in this best of 5.
A brutal game 1 victory there. The smartest player in Starcraft 2, SOS. just with a nice aggressive opening there. And Maru, of course, skipping out on the SCV scout. He didn't have that information, and this is, I think, what makes it especially hard to play against him in this matchup. Is a lot of Terran players love to skip that SCV scout. They love to get that Reaper across the map to scout there and see exactly what's going on. But, you know, SOS, sometimes you just got to get that info a little bit earlier.
Yeah, definitely getting the better end of mind games here with all the meta game that's involved between these two. I'm sure they've played many games against one another in the past, and SOS used that to his full advantage. Will be interesting actually to see whether Maru mixes things up a little bit. Like, he's known for proxying here and there, but does he even scout with an SCV early on? Because he seems to really want to skip on that for the most part, and that did not help his case here in that game number 1.
Do you think he could have kept the command center up and then just kind of finished rebuilding it when the Cyclone comes out and a couple of Marines?
I think if you scout gateway like this, you get a bunker, and then that's it. Like, rush is shut down. Like, you don't even go for it.
Just get the Reaper home, throw the Reaper in the bunker, or even just build a Marine actually straight after the reactor, right? Yeah, of course, it's really hard if you don't have that information because your reactor's building, you just don't have anything to help get rid of that Zealot. And then when the Stalker's there, you just can't contest that with only a Reaper and a Marine or two. You need a Cyclone or a bunker to handle that. A tough start here for the young Jin Air Green Wings player, Maru, up against his teammate, SOS. A good start for the Protoss player. Down here in map number 2, in the bottom left-hand side, in the blue, representing Jin Air Green Wings, it is SOS.
His opponent in the north side of the map playing as the red Terran, it is Maru. Typical Maru face right there.
Nonchalant as always. Never looks too stressed. He's going to be a barracks gas from Maru this game.
Some pretty strong harassment actually with that one probe here from SOS that he sent early, and almost a bit of an overreaction actually from Maru for a second.
Better overreact than underreact, man.
Well, in Starcraft, not necessarily always, right?
Not always. And when it comes to a probe scout, though, I guess, you know, it's nice to make sure you just don't lose any barracks build time. Because if you do pull one SCV, it can be a little bit tough. So he's going to have to keep rotating these healthy SCVs onto chasing that probe for now. So interestingly, with the barracks gas rather than the gas first, you'll much more likely see the Terran player be willing to send this SCV scout across the map. We see that adjustment, and he's actually going to go for a Marine first. So sometimes you will see a player go for a proxy factory if they've gone gas first with this. In this case, it's just going to be a faster factory. Obviously, reactor and Cyclone's a very common follow-up, and this is something Maru's been favoring a lot, going 2 Cyclone, 2 Hellion pressure, and a few other variations along that line.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we don't see Maru scouting a little bit earlier, but he's at least sending an SCV this time around. I guess the fact that he went for a Marine, he kind of had to do that. With the way SOS has been playing and kind of scouting early himself and even rushing in game 1, it's maybe a little bit discouraging for Maru to even do something like a proxy, because that would get spotted so easily by SOS. Usually when I do that, you know, if you think that there is a good chance the Protoss might not scout, in which case it can really do a lot. But the way SOS is playing is not really leaving much room for Maru to be aggressive early on effectively with anything, just because he's looking to spot exactly what Maru is going for. So we'll see. Maybe I'll go for a bunch of Hellions, something like that, and throw some aggression.
So far, Adept's on the way rather than Stalkers, Todd. So that definitely can be a little bit worse for fighting Cyclones. Can also, of course, be a little bit less maneuverable when it comes to defeating Hellions. So both are going to be good options here. There is going to be a fast starport on the way. Of course, Hellion drop has made its way strongly into the Terran versus Protoss meta.
Here's the thing. Last game, SOS made Stalkers, so they were good against the Cyclones. Maybe he thinks that this time they will be Widowmines, so he goes for Adepts, play a little bit more aggressive, goes around where the Widowmines would be, which, by the way, it's a Cyclone in production. Maybe there's that whole mind game already kind of playing into the game, but yeah, the Dark Shrine from SOS, as much as it wasn't successful at all when he used it against Classic, here this is a whole different matchup. And Maru, I don't feel like he might be able to see it coming on time unless he were to scan the main base of SOS here in a second.
Yeah, he's going to be building a pylon up behind the third base of Maru as well.
This has the potential to be such an ugly series, by the way. If he goes up 2-0 here this way, like, SOS is just completely dominating. This was the map as well, in which against Classic he warped the DTs inside of the natural base. Maru still with zero idea. He's not even spotting that pylon here.
This is something where players who are going DTs have a tendency to put the pylon right there.
He's taking the wrong way.
Yeah, he's not
Oh,
looking
he
for
even
it.
missed that. Oh, this is...
Wow, this pylon right out front. So close. SOS very ballsy here. Medevac is now loading up though, and it's going to fly right over the top of that. And he catches the pylon at the front with the Marine move out at the same time. This is a really nice start here to the defense. That DT is warping into his natural expand.
Oh, and he shuts it down, Maru. Wow, the stars aligned properly here for this. I can't believe SOS sent his probe in. He almost brought Maru down the ramp to show the first pylon. Wow. Saved by the bell, saved by the Cyclones.
Indeed, barely hanging on there. And now a nice Marine Cyclone pressure coming across the map. The DT is going to choose to fight that, of course. SOS aware that he doesn't have a lot of units at home. Nice stutter step from Maru, takes down the Dark Templar. And another one warping in. Maru, of course, will be running low on scans. He's getting turrets up at home, but SOS needs to wear this down. Another scan goes down. That time, the DT disappears again. A third one warping in. There's not a lot of units here to defend.
Yeah, that attack would have been very scary if there was no Immortal, but now I do think that SOS should be able to hold on. He might start on losing some probes, so has to take his time, pulls back again. There was yet another scan used by Maru. So effective in saving energy. He does run out though, and that one DT will be scary. There's not much, I mean, there's no anti-air here, really, so Maru just kind of picks up, goes for the main base.
Yeah,
Could have gone for more probes, to be honest.
Gonna try and find some more damage. I do agree with you on that one, Todd. There's no anti-air. There's like a single Stalker, a second one warping in. I would have loved to see a little bit more probe focus fire. He's just gonna go for the pylons for now, and he's gonna try and take that down before backing up. But this is so important. Maru has put SOS on the back foot. This was a massive investment in DT tech.
Woo. DT almost overextending here for a little bit. I love that Maru went for a Raven, by the way. They're just so good nowadays. That anti-armor missile, if you can land that, I mean, Protoss, right? We don't really split much, even when we have to do it against Banelings. Like, it's like kind of difficult, but we've learned to do that a little bit over time. But against Terran, when do you ever really expect to have to split enough not to get hit big time? Maru's, a lot of things are going his way here so far in this game, by the way.
He's up in workers. I don't think he's got a third command center though, so he's... Oh, look at this move! Cyclones from both sides, get the double lock on.
Where's your recall
shuts it down. Recall is not going to get him out of there, man. There's a Forge on the way, third Nexus. But SOS is just behind. He's down 4 workers. He doesn't have his upgrade started. Maru is going to hit such a powerful 2-base attack. And it's not even going to necessarily be all in. He can take a third behind it. I mean, he's just going to have such a huge army. How do you defend this as SOS?
I mean, he might not even need to. It feels like SOS wants to attack. He's moving across the map right now. It's so awkward to transition out of Dark Shrine opener because it feels like you need to go into charge no matter what, but do you drop down the Templar Archives? Do you go into Colossus? Like, so right now what SOS has done is he's made 2 Immortals, he mass charge loss, and he's now getting an Archon, almost as if he wants to attack here. I mean, this army from Maru, if he gets caught in the middle of the map, it might be hard for him to win the fight if the bio is not there, but I think Maru's looking to try and regroup and hit the timing that you were talking about. This might be why SOS is on the map, maybe trying to buy time here a little bit. I mean, those have couple force fields. Maybe you could just recall.
I think this is still such a scary army for Maru. Maru being very smart though, realizing how big this force is. He wants to take it carefully. He doesn't want to let those force fields trap his army, but there they go. Good force field. Nice hot pickup from Maru. Ferries the units behind the force fields and continues to take the engagement. A few more of his units though do get stuck in front of those force fields. I'd love to see an anti-armored missile here. A ton of reinforcements coming out for the Terran.
I think SOS might need to recall here in a second. Centaur missile hits one of these Immortals. SOS is taking the fight. His army's on the high ground and was pretty well set up. Maru kiting his way back here up until the Zealots start running out. Doesn't quite dare to re-engage just yet, even though most of his army was lower in armor than usually.
Oh, wow. And +1 weapons versus no armor upgrades, as well as the anti-armor missile. That is the equivalent of having +4 bio versus +0 Protoss units. That is insane. Those Marines and Marauders were dealing so much damage. SOS recalls out with his tail between his legs. He's way down in supply. He's trying to get Blinken +1, but Maru's not going to give him the time.
And Maru's going to look for the equalizer here. Even catches this War Prism once again, so now he can be very wary of having to defend against it. And at third base, I just don't see it surviving. If SOS tries to defend it, that's going to be it. Either he defends and is in a good spot, or he dies. Interference Matrix on one of those Immortals. There's little DPS now for a second in that Protoss army. Maru needs to kite maybe for a little bit up until the Zealots run out. But SOS, again with the counter-attack across the map. The Immortal from the Prism and 1 DT warp in. There is no turret in the main base.
Maru focusing a little bit too much on the front. He wants to force the issue there. SOS microing 2 fronts at once. It looks like he doesn't have enough units back at home. SOS's base is going to be forfeit. Back on Maru's side of the map, that DT in the natural starting to dish out the hurt. These SCVs are starting to go down, but that +1 armor upgrade is actually so crucial. It means the DTs are taking 2 hits rather than 1 to kill the SCVs, and that's buying Maru the time he needs. He's pushing forward. There's no answer to the Liberators. Maru trying to tie up this series, coming back with a vengeance, shutting down the cheeky Dark Templar play, and SOS is out of options. His War Prism getting chased out of the base. He's trying to desperately micro this Immortal around, but it's all he's got left at this point.
Yeah, I guess he's staying in the game a little bit longer because he was still doing damage across the map, but I mean, he just got Blink and he has 4 Stalkers, 1 Sentry and 1 Immortal. This might just be it here. Maru has too much, snipes the natural base, moves into the main base. There is nothing SOS can do at this stage, and GG gets called. Maru gets the equalizer. That could have done so much worse.
They really could have.
If that Dark Templar warped in and then a second one, I really think we're looking at the 2-0 here.
Because his engineering bay had just started when he actually saw that pylon there. If he didn't stop that DT, I don't think he even had a scan saved up at that point. It would have been really disastrous. Great counter pressure from Maru afterwards as well. And things not going SOS's way in game number 2. We knew this would be a good series, and it looks like it's turning up.
Maru, very, very impressive, I have to say. Stayed patient. It looked scary for a second with that War Prism counter-attacking. You know, that Dark Templar that walked to safety into the natural. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened.
He brought it back in, and like just as the scan was running out as well,
Yeah.
like 5 hit points or something. Oh.
Some great control here from both players. Really, you know, we always talk about Dark Templars nowadays as not being a big, as big an investment as it used to be. I mean, you still need to do damage, right? Like you invest a decent bit into it. That it feels like you need to warp at least 1 or 2 DTs and kill a bunch of SCVs. If you can't even do that, then you invested in a tech that just doesn't do much for you. And Maru was so smart in saving as many scans as he did and sniping every single Dark Templar that he did right after that too.
Exactly. I mean, it's 2 sides of the coin. Not only is it, oh, I haven't done damage. I mean, if your opponent just sits back, builds turrets, and they stay very defensive, sometimes you can get ahead because the DTs make you feel very safe. That map control, their invisibility being so menacing, but he was not ready for the counter pressure. Maru brought the heat with the counter attack. Got revenge for all of the Terrans out there who suffered death to invisible madness in the Mineral Lines. SOS tried to get a little bit too cheeky in that one. Let's see what he's got in store for us in game number 3. Down here in the bottom left-hand side of Eastwatch, in the blue, representing generic Green Wings, he is SOS.
His opponent in the reds, representing all the Terrans around the world. It is Maru. If he was to make it here to the next round, we would have 3-3-2 racial distribution into the round of 8. 3 Zergs, 3 Protosses, 2 Terrans. As close as it gets to perfect, but SOS very well could ruin that, and he will try to pig.
Oh, I mean, if there's beautiful dreams and hopes that anyone has out there, SOS is the guy that's going to ruin it. He's the dude who comes in with only one thing in his mind's eye, and it's just destroying people's dreams. Disrupting their strategies, throwing them off their gameplay, and winning vast, vast sums of money.
And that's exactly what he's looking to do here. Same build as game number 1. He makes the gateway down the ramp, closer to the Terrence wall. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a Zealot and a Cybercore starting momentarily. And
no
SOS
Nexus.
will want to pressure heavily. Yeah, the same build as game number 1, really. Like,
Spot on.
Maru just refuses to scout.
This is
If
very
Maru
common.
doesn't want to scout, we're going to make him scout.
This is a longer map.
By
right?
opening
So
like this.
Let's remember, it will take a little bit longer for the Zealot to get across. So what Maru's got to focus on is really keeping an SCV on this probe. He needs to both get his command center down immediately, which he's got it down very fast this game. It was delayed about 5 seconds the previous one, and he needs to stop that probe from harassing it. Remember the last game, it came back in and bought a few extra seconds. This time, though, probe's in the back corner of the main base. SOS has actually left it here a little bit long, and I'm not sure if that's the best choice there from SOS. Maru actually not going to hunt it down with his Reaper, even though he knows it's there. He's going out and he's scouting for proxies.
Yeah, he's like, this is a bit too weird. Like, this probe, by hiding there, is almost attracting too much attention. He wants me to kill it. Well, yeah, he wants, but for a different reason than a proxy. For the reason that there is a Zealot headed across the map.
He's going to play dodge the Reaper.
Yeah, he's trying to anticipate where the Reaper is going to go through, and he thinks that because he checked at the top side first, now he's going to check the bottom side. And he's actually right.
Wow, he might be able to get in there. That command center, though, is so close to finishing. Remember, like we said, it's a bigger map this time around. The Reaper does leave. That command center, though, seconds from finishing. If it can get up, then this is all fine. Maru sees the Stalker being so early. He knows something's up. The command center's not quite finished. He's got to keep building it. And it's only 1 second away, but the Zealot shuts it down. Another SCV going to go down. It's going to try and take one for the team. The Zealot and the Stalker trying to block it. It wants to get the finishing, and it doesn't. Maru completes the command center.
SOS missed my code a little bit here, by the way. He missed one hit with the first Zealot when it arrived on that SCV, and then after that with the Stalker and the Zealot again. So that was definitely on his side that mistakes were made, but no repair on that one depot. Both players knocking on the opponent's door, trying to get in, trying to deal economic damage. They're doing exactly that, as Maru will be forced back for now, but on the other side of the map, the siege continues here from SOS. A Cyclone will eventually chase him away. Actually, no. SOS
wow, he's going to try and fight this. That is a Cyclone SOS, you madman. Loses a Zealot and a Stalker there. A little bit occupied, of course, in these intense moments. Maru is the player with the better multitasking. If he can get in these messy situations, as long as SOS can't surprise him, it usually is Maru who's going to control a little bit better. We saw that there. Maru takes an edge, he stabilizes, and I'd say all things considered and done, I think it's relatively even.
Yeah, I definitely like the way Maru handled it, though. Like, being able to... I feel like it could have been a lot worse for him, for sure, here. And being able to finish that command center and now being on double orbital, he doesn't mind being down a few walkers. SOS started his gateway late, like, because of the probes that he lost, so... I feel like it might be slightly better for Maru. Or at least I like his position a little bit more. Yeah. And look at how smart he is. He's like, well, what did you do in the last game? Some DTs. There is always that mind game of he did it, he's not going to do it again. But Maru is like, well, I know you just a little too well for that. Starts a Raven, which is going to allow him to skip on the turrets.
And how does he stop this counter push as well? Not only is he ready for the next wave, but he's putting on a hard double Cyclone drop. He's got 6 Marines there. Oh, we're going to see some first-person view here of how Maru tries to micro this. There is a shield battery about to finish. Reaper jumping in the back door at the same time.
Yeah, the Medivac here picking up those units here and there. Gets the shield battery to make sure it cannot help the Stalkers doing a little bit better. Nice pickup. Wow. All those Cyclones here saving them for a long time, but eventually losing them. All of the Stalkers are so bruised. But SOS with some good micro himself, and having that one Stalker in the main base, he was able to get the Reaper as well.
Maru might have done some flashy moves there, but it wasn't effective. He bruised a whole bunch of Stalkers, he bruised a pylon, he didn't kill anything. SOS killed both Cyclones and all of those Marines. Perfect defense by SOS.
That's not gonna happen. He's whopping in Stalkers, actually, looking to try and go on the offensive.
Almost gets that medevac there as well in the retreat. There is a siege tank here. The bunker's not quite ready. There's only a few Marines with no upgrades. He's got to get that bunker up. Todd, he's in so much trouble right now. The siege tank goes down.
And SOS looking to try and dart towards the main base there. I guess that's very important siege tank. gets away from the auto turret that could have helped so much against this. SOS with some great decision making. He's gonna get so many SCVs out of this exchange here.
That narrow window of just a few seconds before the bunker was done, before the tank was fully set up, SOS has pounced on it, and now he's running circles around the base, taking down the SCVs, and the Raven is exposed.
This is the Raven is there, so he's warping in a Dark Templar, I think, to send into the natural base. Might even, if he can snipe the Raven.
Oh, if he snipes that Raven, this is going to be lights out for Maru. He doesn't have any scan save. DTs are running in the main base. I think the Stalkers have all gone down. Is the Raven still alive? Yes, it is. Maru hanging on for now. He needs to retake that natural expansion, but he's already taken massive losses. 18, 20 workers going down.
Yeah, Maru's gonna struggle to recoup from here. He's lost so many SCVs, 22 in total, down to 29 SCVs to 50 probes against a Protoss whom he knows he's gonna be taking a third base in the meantime and transitioning, which is actually gonna be straight into charge. A Robo's on the way as well, and 5 more gates for SOS. And if we've seen anything with SOS is that he knows how to finish from that lead. We saw the great attack that he went into in that game number 1, and I'm pretty sure he's going to want to look to do the same thing here.
This is so smart. SOS gains a bunch of momentum. He has Blink. He says, you know what? Maru has to stay at home for the next couple of minutes. He needs to try to build up and recover back there. How can I use that time to get ahead? SOS, not one to play it safe or overly conservative, immediately says, you know what? I have room to take the gold base. I'm going to use that time to take down the rocks and then clear those rocks. This stops Maru from using this as a move to split up his army later on. It means SOS can easily defend all 3 bases. He's got charge on the way, a ton of gateways, and he's going to go up to this huge mid-game army. Charge lots, Stalkers, Sentries, and Immortals, and he's got a huge economy lead. So for SOS, it's straightforward now. It's just keep massing army off this economy, and when Maru pushes out, receive that push, slap it down, and the game's his.
I mean, he might not even wait for it. I think he might just attack himself in a second here. It's a gold base that he took as a third. Like, his income is just completely out of control at this stage. He's going to send 1 Dark Templar and Warp Prism across the map while still kind of waiting and seeing whether Maru is attacking him.
He's going to warp in
welcome to the Protoss point of view.
Oh my lord, DT's going into both the main and the natural. No turret in the main either. Maru was so broke he didn't replace that missile turret. And this Warp Prism causing chaos here, doing a huge amount of damage.
Oh, he's going to come in from that side there, looking to try and catch reinforcements, and he's going to do just that while still sending Dark Templars across the map because the Raven had to be with the main army.
Nice move from Maru, though. He is actually going to boost straight on into that main base, try and getting on the high ground. There is a ton of Protoss.
Oh, you recalled the army in the main base, so that army of Terran is trapped between 2 Protoss armies, and he's going to get flanked.
That is a great move there by Maru. SOS, though, unfortunately miscontrolling, sent a bunch of Stalkers north from this gold base, so doesn't actually have the anti-air there to punish this. Maru getting a little bit of a better trade than I would have expected, but SOS has got the numbers. A huge Zealot warp in coming in. And Maru, he's got to run home. He's on 2 bases, only 33 workers. SOS is still up on 3 bases. The gold is still healthy. Things are looking bad for our Terran.
Yeah, he's running out of minerals to the main base. Might have to fly that to a new base in a second, maybe the gold one. But remember, there's a Dark Shrine and DTs keep being sent in. Another scan will snap. No, it walks away to safety. No, not quite. Actually, dies. How many SCVs have died this game?
34, and he's got 35 left, so pretty much as many as there are in existence right now. Maru way down in that econ. He's going to have to make something special happen. He's been landing some nice anti-armor missiles throughout this series, but really with
just
the
pull
numbers
the SCVs. Just go for it.
Matter.
Just pull the boys.
Pull the boys?
Yeah.
I think he's got your advice in mind, Todd. Do you think this can do it?
I think so, actually. He's got quite a bit. I don't think it will, but I think maybe it could. Like,
there's
gonna need some serious kiting, some great anti-armor missile, and might
Ooh.
not even be enough. A lot of these units are orange here. SCVs are gonna be tanking at the front. SOS with overwhelming numbers. Let's see if Maru can kite his way out of this one.
Dude, those Widow Mine shots were huge. Not to mention the anti-armor missile. Managed to hit about 15 Zealots, all of which went down so quickly. Even more Zealots going down. Maru, you got it. You're actually going to be able to do this. How is this even possible? The hits were just too good.
Oh
the
my God.
anti-armor missile, the Widow Mines, SOS cannot believe what has just happened in this game.
Unbelievable. The interference matrix on that 1 Immortal. Maru cleans everything up. 58 army supply to 25. He's still being bullied by that 1 single Dark Templar across the map. Is Maru actually doing this?
That should not have happened. SOS is trying to make more units to defend, but there's just too much bio. Maru has actually sent his workers home. He's mining with a tiny amount of economy, and he's just trying to finish it here. He's already killed almost every probe. He's still got that squad of elite Marines and Marauders left, and Maru making the impossible happen. Breaks SOS from far behind. Barely even shows a release of emotion because he knows it's not done yet. He knows he needs to win one more, but that was incredible.
That's my face right now. This right there. Unbelievable.
That was sick.
Wow. SOS literally threw everything that a Terran player has nightmares of. It was an early rush into Blink Stalkers, into Dark Templars, into mass charge loss with a quick turn on the gold base. That was insane.
He was ahead at
And
every
Maru wins
turn.
somehow.
That was crazy. That last engagement is insane. I can't wait to have the boys over at the desk break that one down for us. Let's hear from Kalaris and the guys.
Unbelievable stuff. The series so far living up to expectation here between SOS and Maru. Joining me at the desk, we do have Tasteless, we have Ro12. Tasteless, game number 2 flew by, and you have something for us from game 2.
Yeah, just real quick here, if we can throw this up on screen. I wanted to highlight the early part of this game. So we see, I think we're actually on the wrong screen here. If we could just switch to the other laptop.
Yeah, laptop.
There we go.
There we go.
So we have the pylon coming in here. Now he's going to do a DT rush. So he loops the probe back around here, sends this up to make an additional pylon. Let me speed this up a little bit here. Goes up. Now, in some way, he's baiting the Marines to come down here and cause the impression that, oh, I spotted the pylon. Now I can deny the DT rush when
Dun, dun,
there's
dun.
another pylon over here.
That's right.
Now, we can see that Maru's actually pretty diligent here. Excuse me, I'm bumping my fingers on the keyboard. He comes down here, and we see this pylon taken out right before this DT can come in, and boom. That's all you got to do. The DT rush doesn't do any damage there, and that's all I had to show you, Claris. But if you don't do anything with the DTs, you invest so many resources to try to get that out, that you're in an odd place strategically.
Yeah, to our newer viewers,
he was in trouble after that moment.
Right, to our newer viewers, if you only have the pylon out there and no gateway next to that pylon, it takes a whole lot longer for those units to warp in. So if a gateway had been there, for example, that would have been warping in very quickly, and that wouldn't have been the case.
Yeah, and with a strategy like that, that's tricky to do.
Of course.
I mean, the mind games from SOS are cool, but he might want to do something that's a little bit less risky.
More stable.
And I'm not saying don't do crazy strategies, but something like that, which is hinged on a very specific moment of getting that warp out, I think it's not going to be enough against Maru.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Tasteless. Ro12, game number 3.
Yeah, obviously we have to talk about game number 3 there, because that ending, that's ridiculous, Kalaris. Yeah. The Dark Templars in game 2, like Tasteless said, they did absolutely nothing. Game 3, however, completely different ball game, non-stop harass. I love the Stalker run by, because he pulled the entire army out of position, and that's why SOS got himself in the fantastic position that he was in. But somehow Maru wouldn't be Maru if he didn't find a way to win. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final moments of Game 3. I mean, I love how big ass thought. Do you think he can do it? Thought is like, yeah. But I don't think he will, and I don't think anybody really thought he would, because normally if you're not mining at all, you're so all in at this point. But then you analyze the situation, and it's like, okay, is there hope? Yes, there is hope. What has to happen? A perfect Seeker missile, that's number 1. Then the SCVs, truly, these little boys, I mean, in a fight, they're gonna not do very much.
All those guys.
Those guys.
I like that alien
in the
code
circle. we're gonna draw, okay? Basically, they need to draw. They need to tank a little bit, and then, of course, you need perfect mine shots. Now, the Seeker missile is really good. That is a ridiculous amount of Protoss units that have been effective. And one key point here, even though Maru's army is a little bit smaller, Maru does have +1. And gateway units against Stim Bio with Medevacs, upgrades are key. They're very, very important. So that is the one thing that Maru has going. Obviously, the Seeker missile makes it for a much bigger advantage. The biggest problem is, though, Maru is not mining. SOS is going to get a lot of reinforcements. So everything has to be good. And then you look at all these zealots here. Everything is quite clumped up. And then you look at this little guy and this little guy. And they're like, all right, you know what? Let's do some work. Let's make the impossible happen. And those mine shots are big. I mean, the one on the left only got the Stalker, but the other one did a lot of damage.
Yep.
The kiting is perfect. There are more mines here to fall back on as well. And suddenly SOS is like, oh, come on, this cannot be real, right? Well, of course it can be real. More mine shots that connect with the Zealots. And it is very important here that these mine shots actually only kill the Zealots, because sometimes you see Zealots go here.
And splash.
And then if any friendly fire would have happened, I mean, everything had to go right here for Maru. But somehow he got the job done. Everything got right. He got rid of all the Zealots. And he gets nice and close on top of the Immortals. Of course, we saw the interference matrix on that bad boy as well. What a ridiculous game for Maru to win. He had to do 7 things right, and he did all of them right.
He did, and he goes up 2-1 at the moment. I feel like, Rotterdam, when you're in these games and those little like patterns appear, somebody in production should just pause the stream and the X-Files music should just start as this little pattern appears. Thank you very much, Rotterdam, and thank you very much, Tasteless, as well. We're going to head back to the casters for game number 4, SOS versus Maru.
Thank you very much for that breakdown, guys. So you've heard it here first. Terran players out there on the ladder. You're struggling against DTs. You're struggling against a Protoss who's up about 30 supply. Just play like Maru. That's it. That's all you need to do, man.
Only 7 things.
Just 7 things in a row.
I mean, just micro perfectly, you know, like doable, totally doable.
Honestly, that was insane. Though. That comeback, I think SOS, you could see it on his face. He was not happy with that result.
Definitely not. I mean, this was his game to lose, and that happened. And it's kind of weird because he keeps on using Dark Shrine. Did it against Classic, lost both games. Did it twice now against Maru, he lost both of those games. But it's not even like you could be too result oriented and think like he lost because he went for the Dark Shrine. No, he had this game in the bag. I feel like his biggest mistake maybe here was not trying to buy a little bit more time. And
yeah, just wait for like another round of warp in.
If you made 1 Archon, he had 2 DTs in DT form. If you made 1 Archon or 2, that would have helped so much against this. But I mean, I'm here at the casting desk. It's so easy to criticize. You know, I'm like, why didn't you have Carius, you know, to all this attack? Barely even makes sense, stick pig.
It didn't work out there for SOS. Maru somehow clawing that game out of the bag. SOS trips over, drops his candy on the ground, and Maru gleefully picks it up, takes that win. We are going to be launching into map number 4. Here it is, guys, on Neon Violet Square. Let's give it up for the Protoss player down here in the bottom right-hand side. The world champion. He is SOS.
His opponents in the north playing Terran, and in the red, he's showing all Terrans around the world a path on how to play against Protoss. It is Maru.
He looks almost stressed there in that booth, but he's only got 1 more game to finish it out. And you know why I'm excited, Todd? It's because we are on Neon Violet Square. And I think a lot of the viewers out there also remember the game from the open bracket. I believe it was against Stats here on this map, where it went to the supreme late game, and Maru decided to just casually go for about 5 Ghost Academies, start dropping nukes all over the map. We saw masses of Ravens running in and launching spells, battle cruisers.
One of the best games of this tournament so far, that was.
It was incredible, right? You know, we normally think of Maru as a guy who has to win in the mid game, or he just dies once Storm and Colossus come out, but he dominated the late game against Protoss there.
Yeah, excited to see what he goes for here. That 1 probe making me a little bit nervous. Actually going to proxy a pylon on the pocket expansion towards Maru's main base.
Oh no.
Usually that's for a Stargate.
That's normally the Void Ray Shield battery rush we see on the back door there.
SOS is selling this so well, by the way. He sent another probe, that one that Maru is exclusively focused on. Does he check for this? If he doesn't, he could be in such big trouble.
He hasn't checked for it. He is SCV scouting this time around, so he will get some warning that something's going on, but will he realize it's this? That's the question, because his Reaper realistically needs to get down there right now if he wants to defend this. You cannot let a Stargate get up that close. Definitely not shield batteries with it as well. The SCV is going to scout in a few seconds. For now, the Reaper is looking for the probe. He comes in. The SCV sees no expansion. He realizes immediately, okay, I'm being one base. Maru's Reaper runs back. What is the response? Is it going to be the correct one?
Ooh, that was weird actually. Because 1 more probe left the natural base of SOS, almost as if it said like, follow me. And I think Maru got a little bit nervous, and he kind of started following it. Now he gets caught by the Stalker. That's going to be the entire scout across the map being denied. That 1 probe still being annoying as it regenerated the shields. And with this target finishing safely and not being spotted, that's going to be shield batteries going down. A lot of the time you're going to be seeing Void Rays being made out of this to really siege that main base. Oh, he's going to check it.
Oh, he's going to go, but there's already a shield battery there. It's healing the probe. The probe says, I'll fight you, mate. Actually goes and zaps the Reaper once or twice there. The Reaper is going to have to just focus down the pilot. Already 2 more shield batteries and Void Rays being chrono boosted. This bunker so out of position, it's not even going to help.
Yeah, the Stalker can just run past this easily here. Start sieging that wall off at the ramp, kill that depot. And second Void Ray is already going to be queued. SOS has invested so much into this, he has to do a lot.
Void Ray is going to come in. That bunker's going to get up, but the Void Ray over here can take down the wall in. And if you lose that barracks with the reactor, that's half of your production, even more gone. Yes, there's a factory finished, but Cyclone's not very good at shooting down Void Rays, especially not when there's shield batteries here. This is a disastrous position for Maru. SOS going all in on the proxy Void Ray. And Maru, I don't think he has an answer.
It's going to be so hard. He's trying to get some Cyclones and some Marines. Remember, SOS, all he has to do is kind of walk back to the shield batteries and he's going to be super safe. Supply block hitting the Terran player now, about to lose one of his barracks. He's trying to repair it, moves in the safety of that bunker, but SOS will walk in there. So now it's going to be a little bit harder for him to walk back to the shield batteries, but there's nothing to really hold that Protoss army in position from Maru.
Oh, Maru's just going to pull and fight this. He's going to try and overwhelm. There's not a lot of damage output here for Protoss, but the shield batteries are insane, and all he needs to do is get rid of the anti-air. Most of the Marines have fallen. There's only a few left. Maru has to tap out. Types GG, and SOS, the cheeky guy that he is, once again surprises Maru and ties up the series. We're 1 game away. It's through to the final match.
Can you believe this guy? He's down 1 and 2. He's like, I'll make a Stargate next to his base. If he checks for it, I've lost the game. Wins the game, and Maru looks devastated at this point. He's not usually the guy to show that much emotion, but he held his head and he's talking to himself a little bit. This has to be troubling for the Terran player to lose this kind of game when SOS took such a risk by proxying his target like this.
That's a common build. It's one he's seen before, he's stopped before, but he just wasn't checking for it this game. He got tricked by that second probe that came over and pretended, hey, this is the first probe on your side of the map, mate. I'm going to harass your expansion. And Maru, once again, punished there. It's just so difficult to get through this early stage of the game. As Maru, SOS turns it into a gauntlet. You need to run past so many obstacles. There's so many pitfalls and dangers that you can fall into. Maru is obviously stressed out. He would love to just choose a build order, get through to the 6 or 7 minute mark and play his game. But SOS isn't letting it happen.
That's his dream. SOS is preventing any conventional game from happening so far. The one game where things looked kind of normal was game number 1, but it was only because he got ahead with the initial rush. And he's happy to do so anytime that he can.
That's SOS in a nutshell. He'll play standard. He's got great macro, great straight up play, but he's usually only going to go to it once he gains that advantage, as you said, Todd. And now things are tense. All eyes on the Terran player. Maru, yes, we saw before the quote from TY saying we see him as the strongest Terran player in this tournament. He's the last Terran alive in GSL. He's the Terran hope in Korea right now. But historically, he has not been as consistent in these clutch moments. On the other hand, the Protoss player who has won so many times when it matters more than any other time, who performs so well in these big money tournaments. He is fighting for it all here. He wants his spot in the round of 8 to be confirmed. In the top left-hand side of Backwater, let's give it up for the Protoss player. It is SOS.
And his opponents in the reds, once again, one of the few hopes of Terran. It is Maru.
A very early worker scout here from SOS, coming in and getting some harassment going. It's going to be Backwater, a larger map, a map with an in-base third. So that is a third base which you can defend simply through defending the front of your first expansion, your natural. So 3 bases, very easy to take here, but SOS, always a danger. Maru, once again, going to be going for the Barracks Gas, the safer version of his opening after that first game where he was punished for not scouting. He's got the SCV scout going across. It is going to be a Reaper, and he is going to try and take that expansion as soon as possible.
It took SOS a lot of efforts, but he's finally getting Maru to scout a little bit more than just the one Reaper that will come out eventually.
Finally,
that one Pro, by the way, has
gets
the worst
rejected.
job, but he's doing such a good job every time.
His job is just to distract, you know, distract, annoy, frustrate, and he's just done so well at that. The SCV this time comes in, sees, okay, you're expanding. So far, you're doing what a normal Protoss would do. This is what Maru's looking for. He's saying, are you going to do normal stuff? Oh, tries to recall the probe and actually goes down.
Wow.
That's a waste of 50 energy.
That's unusual here.
Yeah. If you're going to do that, you want to make sure you do it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, but I
it
think
gets out of there.
Yeah, that's weird. It's almost as if, like, as he did it, he knew it was wrong, but he still did it anyway, because, I mean, you know that the Reaper will kill that before the recall actually goes off, so a little bit of a mistake here from SOS, as Maru will be happy to have sniped that one less thorn in its side.
I do like seeing the Stargate play now out of SOS. Mixing it up a little bit here. He's going to be getting a second Adept as well. The Reaper going straight on in. Maru wants to get this information. Of course, the jumping ledge has been blocked.
Yeah, this is kind of bad, actually. He walked right in, and there is only Adepts. It's not like there is Stalkers, so for SOS to be able to chase that and properly shut it down is going to be difficult. Remember, it's Maru we're talking about. He's quite good with his Reapers and units.
Oh, he's going to get a second probe kill. Will end up going down, I believe. But, hey, nice damage. Scouts the Stargate. Gets 2 worker kills. The Adept on the other side, though, does get in. Is going to be a nuisance. Does take down 1 worker.
And there's a couple of those SCVs that were already injured. So instead of taking 3 hits to kill them, he takes just 2. Nice snipes here from both players.
Good example of how that progress in the early game actually pays off a little bit later. And this is big for Oracles as well. Oracles now, similar to Adepts, just barely need a 3rd hit to kill a unit. You get 1 worker hit on those SCVs and suddenly they go down just like that. And Oracle is on the way as well as another 2 Adepts. We saw SOS use this exact same opening against Ryung and just knock him out of the game. And Maru does have a Cyclone on the way. He's building more Marines pretty much non-stop. He's got to keep them together.
He's going to be so aggressive here. It's going to be a ton of Adepts, Oracles, and he's going to try to finish this game quickly. Take out the Marines as a priority, then deal with the Cyclones. And from there, just snowball out of control. Steamroll the Terran, start killing a ton of SCVs, pull super far ahead, and win this game.
That Cyclone is key. It shuts down the Adepts there.
But
That's
then that means
really
he's not in the main base.
Second one, though, pops out just in time. Yeah, this is so safe from Maru. 2 Cyclones, a medevac, non-stop Marine production. Maru is actually doing this so well.
Does SOS still go for this? Or is he properly discouraged now?
I think he's got to back off. I mean, 3-gate Stargate is not necessarily too... Oh, that's a 4th gateway there, isn't it?
Yeah. I think if he threatens the main base and forces the Cyclones to be there, then he can actually go into the natural. But Maru's the one moving out right now. He's that confident.
I mean, he doesn't have much information right now. He lost the Reaper, remember. Normally, after this sort of pressure, you'd expect the Protoss to have a fast 3rd Nexus. And because Maru slowed down his extra barracks by building so many Cyclones and Marines non-stop, he doesn't have a lot of tech or economy behind it. He wants to put on the hurt and slow down that 3rd. Little does he know, it's just mass units from SOS. He's got a stasis trap, he's got Oracles, Stalkers, Adepts, and a shield battery. But a drop goes into the main base. Maru taking advantage of this mobility.
SOS is still really respecting that attack here, transferring everything immediately, making sure he doesn't lose too many of these walkers. Very fast. Going to be looking to try and defend on his side of the map, but around the natural. I like that he evacuated the main base, but he's going to counter-attack. That 4th Oracle not finishing on time before the Stargate gets unpowered. He's there in the defense back at home for Maru. I don't think so. He's going to be losing so many SCVs, Pig.
These Oracles just going right across the map. This drop needs to do more damage. The pressure is on both sides. SOS down to 1 base mining for a long time here. He's losing even more probes, but he is massacring the workers on Maru's side of the map. A Viking is out. 3 Cyclones come back, and with the lock-ons, that is going to spell the end of the Oracles, but at the same time, Stalkers run in on the ground. SOS so decisive. He knows he needs to do more damage.
There is no Marines inside of that bunker. It's just going to be for these Cyclones to make something happen. So many SCVs have already died. Maru down to 22 walkers against the 31 of SOS. Both players trading blow for blow as this Oracle will fall as well.
That's
and
important.
with a 3rd command center up, Maru can actually go for a 3rd orbital and not mind too much being behind in walkers. What a fast and furious series and final map here. Neither player refusing to slow down or in any way.
If we could see the units tab, that would be fantastic here. We've got, of course, units lost, 3 oracles and all of that. No tech units left standing for the Protoss. SOS, I think, comes out the worst for wear. Yeah, he's up about 10 workers, but what's he got? He's rebuilding oracles right now. His 3rd Nexus is just starting up against the triple orbital. As you pointed out, those mules going to be dropping. We've got multiple Cyclones and Vikings, and now a Raven coming out from Maru as well. If Maru can stabilize, get his production back up, he should soar ahead. SOS, I think, is going to try to keep poking, see if he can find a little bit more damage. If he can slow Maru down, he might be able to keep this going.
I think so many players would have fell apart against this counter-attack here from SOS, but Maru's crisis management was incredible. I think the best choice he had was just to kind of walk back these Cyclones to deal with the Oracles, because the counter-attack on this side of the map was good, but it's not like, you know, it did a ton.
Oh,
now
this
dropping
is
some
huge.
Cyclones simultaneously in places where SOS is going to struggle to defend in both.
And the Vikings going to go land in the main at the same time.
Oh,
All the Stalkers were pulled to the natural to deal with those Cyclones. Beautiful multi-prong aggression here from Maru. Picks up the Cyclones, boosts out of there, leaves with the Vikings. Yes, he's going to lose the Viking, but that's well worth it. I was saying it's SOS that needs to be slowing down Maru, but it's actually the other way around. Yeah. Maru is running away with this game, using these tech units we talked about to try and keep SOS down. And this is just such nice control from him. Picking up these Cyclones, dodging the Stalker shots, gets a Stalker and gets out of there.
Maru is so sick when the best defense is offense. That's what he's showing us here. He's got a Raven now, he's getting turrets, covering all of his bases. That Viking still going ham in the main base, killing some more probes. And Maru is actually 10 walkers ahead now. He's in a fantastic spot. Twilight Council only now finished, and SOS hasn't even started anything out of it. What is he supposed to do? I guess going to charge and High Templars, maybe?
Maybe Glaives charge. He's basically just got to make an upgrade and go. He's dropping extra gateways. He's got no forges. Doesn't even have a robo. SOS is down in a very bad position. Meanwhile, Maru is going up to 5 barracks. He can add on upgrades now. He's already got 1 engineering bay going. Could even add on a 2nd one in the near future. But his amount of unit production is out of this world. When Stim and Combat Shield finishes, he'll be great. And oh my god, that scan, Todd! He sees everything.
Maru should be able to realize that from there it's usually going to be charge or glaze, but I don't think he even cares that much because he's got a massive army moving across the map here, way more than SOS's 54 army supply to 42. And I mean, a lot of that supply is actually in oracles that are across the map right now from SOS Repair.
Oh my gosh, SOS with a bit of miscontrol goes in and loses an oracle for free. Meanwhile, a huge attack. Anti-armor missiles, the Zealots don't have charge. Maru forces his way through, knocks SOS down after an incredible comeback in game number 4. Looking so stressed, so worn out during that series. Maru somehow pulls it together. Hugs and congratulates his teammate, and he has taken it out. He will be pushing through to the top 8.
What an insane series. Not your typical Terran versus Protoss, as both players refuse to back down from a fight, Pig, as predicted.
Never going to back down from a fight. Not if you're in Maru's shoes. Now he is through to that top 8, an extra $5,000 in his pocket. He is looking set and ready. We can't wait to hear from him and his thoughts on progressing. Of course, it's always hard to take out a teammate, but we're going to be back with an interview with Maru in just 2 minutes.
It was the Battle of the Titans for our last match in the round of 12, and it's Maru that takes down SOS in an intense 3-2 series. So first of all, congratulations, Maru. It was such an amazing series for all of us to watch, and it was a game against a teammate of yours. So because of that, I can't help but think there must have been so many mind games. Was it difficult to prepare because of that?
일단 축하드리고요. 이제 같은 팀원이랑 붙게 됐는데 그래서 좀 심리전도 있었을 것 같은데 준비하는 과정에 좀 힘들었나요?
일단 팀원을 만날 줄 몰랐는데 이렇게 만나게 되니까 마음이 되게 안 좋아가지고 그냥 편하게 하자는 생각으로 했던 것 같아요.
So he says, I really didn't think I would be going up against a teammate of mine in the round of 12, but once I found out that I would, I didn't feel that great about it. And because of that, I decided to just enter this matchup by just having a really comfortable mindset, and I think that's why I was able to work out as well as it did. And throughout this series, we saw such amazing gameplay from both of you. I want to jump into talking about Game 3 because you lost so many workers. It really did not look so great for you, and yet you still won. So tell us how you did it.
세 번째 경기에 대해서 얘기하고 싶은데 일꾼을 정말 많이 잃었거든요. 근데도 이겼어요. 어떻게 해서 이길 수 있었나요?
일단 조합에서 제가 앞서 나가가지고 그거 한 방으로 이겼던 것 같은데 그냥 좀 한방 싸움을 제가 잘해서 이긴 것 같아요.
So I just think that I had a really good army composition at the time, and I think the way that I fought, I handled it as best as I could, and the engagement went really in my favor, and that's why I think I came out on top. And now, if you want to go on to the semifinal match, you must win your quarterfinal match, and you're going to be going up against Solar. In the past, when you have faced him, it's gone really well. You're ahead in the head-to-head. So because of that, do you feel comfortable?
이제 다음에 만날 선수는 강민수 선수인데 예전에 만났을 때는 주로 이겼었어요. 그래서 마음이 더 편하세요?
제가 저거 전에 자신이 있었는데 요즘에 대회에서 저거를 못 만나다 보니까 좀 어떻게 될지 몰라가지고 그게 좀 걱정인 것 같아요.
So he says, normally I've been very, very confident in my TVZ, but it's been a really long time since I've actually faced a Zerg opponent on a live event like this. So I'm a little bit worried because I'm not sure how it'll pan out, but I'm sure it'll be a fantastic series nonetheless. Congratulations again, Maru. Best of luck in your next match. Let's head back to the Death of Colaris and the boys.
Thank you, Smix, and that completes our round of 8 attendees, with Maru taking that last spot available, and in the process eliminates one of our potential double Intel Extreme Masters World Champions in SOS. He is gone in the round of 12. Gentlemen, though, what a back and forth bloodbath.
It was so awesome to watch. Just seeing how Maru was able to slowly outmaneuver SOS is really cool.
Yeah.
And you're completely right with SOS now being eliminated. I mean, he really was one of the favorites to actually win the whole tournament.
Yeah.
Could have won a second time, in fact. So Maru pulling that off, big win. We got to watch for him. He might make it all the way to the finals.
Yeah, very impressive stuff going up against Solar later on in the round of 8. Rotterdam, though, you do have something that you want to show us from the final moments of that series.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit clumsy because I'm going to show the same thing twice, but just to see how sometimes things that you see in StarCraft can be a little bit deceiving. This game was hectic, guys. SOS had a proxy pylon, and instead of having a regular 1-gate Stargate and let's say build an army, it was going to be mass Oracle 4-gate. SOS just tried to do SOS things and win. Now, if we look from everybody's point of view, we're going to take a look at this medevac, because this medevac is the MVP. It picks up these Marines, and you have the feeling that SOS is aware of this, right? And Maru is floating, and you can see him here. He's like, oh, no. You know, he turns it around immediately. He's like, okay, did I just reveal the medevac? But if you go back in time and you look from SOS's point of view, this all looks very normal. What SOS sees here, it all looks very normal. Like, there's nothing weird about what SOS sees. You follow the Oracle, you see a Cyclone, you depth see a little bit. He's like, I'm going to drop a stasis. And all he sees here is Marines on the ground and Cyclones. But at this point in time, this medevac is already full of Marines. But obviously, SOS can't possibly know that. So SOS just runs back. And even though he does catch a glimpse of this medevac here, you can see Maru be like, whoa, I don't want you to see that. SOS saw these units on the ground, so he's expecting a frontal push.
Right.
That's why he's getting so ready here. And then fast forward a little bit. It's honestly, this push would have not been hard to stop for SOS at all. The only thing what causes a lot of trouble is this drop that he just barely missed. A, he loses all the mining time, and B, I mean, come on. This Oracle, the only thing that's left, the Thanis would say, is just the wrapping paper was still on it. That's 39 out of 39. That one Oracle can really make the difference. At this point, SOS is like, well, I'm 4-gating, I'm Stargating, I can't wait, I can't even be bothered to deal with this drop. I need to run to the other side of the map. I'm gonna kill as much stuff as you, and I just love the panic reaction here from Maru, but this is panic in the right way. He's like, all I need to do is survive, because you have no tech, you have no transition. I'm gonna pull all my boys, and if I defend, I am in a really good spot. Obviously, we saw him defend. And some people might say like, well, Roddy, he's down 11 workers. Is this really that good? Yes, at this point it is that good because Maru is on 3 CCs and Protoss has no Twilight, no Robo, and Maru being the seasoned veteran that he is, he knows he can easily turn that worker count around. And this game is his. Like, I loved it. Little bad luck there for SOS, but beautiful crisis management by Maru.
And that concludes our round of 12 here for the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. After the break, we start our round of 8, and the only non-Korean combatant, the Finnish phenom, Serral, is going to be entering the fray. You don't want to miss this one.